Journal Record Associate Publisher Ted Struley joins us to discuss other stories making news in business today. Ted, thanks for joining us.
Glad to be here, Robert.
There are worries about water-damaged vehicles flooding into Oklahoma. What's behind those concerns?
Well, there's a lot of vehicle sales activity going on in the Houston area right now in Texas after Hurricane Harvey. A lot of flooded and damaged cars down there, and so people are out replacing those, buying new cars. They still have to get rid of the old ones, especially if they weren't fully insured. So the auto dealers are warning us that we're going to see a lot of those cars coming up this way, especially through online and private party sales, not so much through the dealerships.
Buyer beware. Well, it looks like economic recovery in rural Oklahoma is still dependent on oil and gas. Are there any positive signs yet?
Very much so. Once oil prices kind of stabilized at the end of last year and beginning of this year, Chad Wilkerson of the Oklahoma City branch of the Kansas City Federal Reserve says that we saw economic activity balance out in rural Oklahoma right along with those oil prices, looking much more positive in rural parts of the state.
Well, speaking of oil, Hughes County is becoming a hot spot. What's the story there?
Well, it's right in the middle of the stack play, which has a great deal of promise for producers. Tall Oak Midstream 3 is the partnership that's putting a pipeline at a cost of about $200 million right through that county.
Now, there's some potentially good news on the horizon for private duty nurses. Tell us about that.
There is. This is going to affect private duty nurses who especially treat stay-at-home children, homebound children who are ill or chronically ill. It looks like through the federal government, they may be able to get a pay raise from $25 an hour up to a little over $30 an hour, so that's about a 20% bump.
The Oklahoma City Dodgers are growing a new business. What is it?
Well, they're going into the turf management business. They're taking that expertise they have in maintaining all that grass at the baseball stadium and taking it on the road, making it commercially available.
What are you working on for next week?
There was a very controversial decision in the 10th Circuit. We're going to take a look at how that could redefine Indian country in Monday's paper.
Ted Struley from the Journal Record, thanks for joining us.
My pleasure.